What's up, everybody? Thanks for checking in with Callie. Please like, subscribe if you haven't. So I'm going to say this. This is the most important part of the season for every NBA team going down the latter part of the season after the All-Star break. But for the Clippers specifically, this is the most important for them. Because when you think about, some of what their schedule looks like, you got OKC coming up first. And then a couple games from that, you got the Lakers, who are trying to still stay within contention. And, it's always a rivalry game there. Then you got the Timberwolves again. You play them twice in like maybe 2 weeks. And then you got the Bucks. You play them twice within like a 2 week span. So it's like, you're going to have some games, some signature games where you have to show up and you have to show out. And, of course, health is definitely the Clippers' number one thing. So, you want Kawhi to be right. You want Paul to be right. And you want James Harden and Russ to be right. Now, of course, James Harden and Russ pretty much played every game this season, and that's definitely a good sign. But, for the most part, Kawhi and PG have too. So, I mean, it's no excuses. It's no anything at this point. It's just pretty much this is the point where it kind of gets real for a lot of teams because, the seeding matters. A lot of teams may say it don't matter and all that type of stuff, but it does. It matters when you can actually get that number one seed and actually have everybody come through your hometown and your house to get to the finals. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm pretty sure the Clippers are definitely looking at that, eyeing that. They've been eyeing that all season simply because at the beginning of the season, Ty Lue said, on a podcast, I think it was All the Smoke, that, Kawhi, PG, and him and the rest of the team is going to take the regular season more serious this year than what they have in previous seasons. So with that being said, the Clippers are, right there at the number one spot. So with that being said, you got to try to, deliver some real competition to these teams in regards to, getting some huge victories down the stretch. Now, they haven't beat the Timberwolves yet. They got two more opportunities. And I'm not really too much worried about that because I've seen situations where teams would lose to a team like all 4 games in the season and come back and win in the postseason. Matter of fact, the Miami Heat did it with LeBron James and D Wade and Chris Bosh when they lost to the Chicago Bulls with Derrick Rose and back then. And they lost all 4 games in the regular season and they came back and beat them in the postseason due to the lack of experience and not being playoff ready like that. And so, I mean, not saying that happened to the Timberwolves, but I'm saying it's a possibility because they have their best players are very young and not that playoff experience. So that can definitely go a long way, in regards to a 7-game series. But of course, the Clippers would at least like to, tie that up 2-2 or at least get one out of that, 4-game stretch of or 4-game series, sort of say regular season series between the two teams so they can at least have some confidence and see where they can attack them a little bit better and see what works for them if they have to play them in a 7-game series. Now, the Milwaukee Bucks, now that's another challenge. Of course, I think, the Clippers can definitely get one at least out of that one. Maybe both, possibly because Giannis is very predictable, and Dame, he's kind of predictable as well with his game. It's not like they run a lot of different matchup, different sets and things like that. Doc Rivers is very vanilla with his coaching, so I expect them to at least get one out of that one. But of course, you definitely want to start off well going against SGA and the Thunder. I think they already beat the Thunder this year once or twice, so I mean they definitely kind of have a mental edge over them. I definitely think they would be able to get past them in a 7-game series, even though I think it might go 6 or 7 games, honestly, if they actually had to play them. So, I mean, definitely you want to start off right, coming out the All-Star break and everything, and kind of start off fast and keep it moving and keep going. But definitely the Clippers might want to, they definitely want to lock in at this point because, like I said, down the stretch, you're looking at the Denver Nuggets, yourself, the Clippers, the Thunder, and the Timberwolves. The Timberwolves are currently at the number 1 spot. So, but I mean, everybody's like within a game or less, those 4 teams within a game or less to be in the number 1 spot. So if the Timberwolves slip up any, as long as you're winning, you definitely have a chance to, grab that number 1 seed and separate yourself a little bit with some big victories and getting some big signature victories like against the Lakers, against, the Timberwolves, the Bucks, and or, the Thunder, that can definitely, set you apart in regards to, those other teams and where the standings will lie, especially if you could just keep it going. Because, I mean, the Clippers definitely have some in there they should win, but of course, nothing is a given. But they got a game against the Grizzlies. I think maybe 2 games against the Grizzlies also. They could at least probably get both of those more than likely. But, it's like, you got to take care of business at home. That's another thing, on your home floor, you got to be dominant. You got to be, you got to take care of business at your house. You got to protect your house, and you got to play, at another level. Of course, you got to play on another level on both, whether home or away. But I mean, home, you definitely got to protect your house, and that'll definitely take you a lot further, into the playoffs with your confidence and things like that. Because if you do get that home court advantage, if you've been a good home team, all year or mostly all season, then it's like, oh, okay, well, we got the home court advantage because we got the number 1 seed, and we've been pretty good at home as far as protecting our house and knowing, how to attack teams at a certain angle and giving and feeding off our crowd's energy to where it propels us to win games, and we be the team that's, comes out with the victory rather than the other team, the opposing team coming into our house. So it's like, with that being said, the Clippers got to, keep all this in mind and definitely, stay healthy first and foremost more than anything, because I mean, that's definitely going to, help them in regards to maybe not only being the number 1 seed, but, of course, pending based upon how far they go in the playoffs. So, I mean, I'm anticipating to see it. I want to see the Clippers kind of, keep pace of what they were doing. They won 27 out of their last 33 games before the All-Star break, which was overly impressive. I mean, because how the Clippers started 3-7, nobody would imagine them actually being in the number 1 seed or even had an opportunity to grab it. And they had the number 1 seed for a couple of days until, I think they faced the Timberwolves or something like that. But still, it doesn't matter. You had an opportunity. You felt it. You saw it. You know what it's like. And that's good. So, I mean, keep it going if you can, so you can re-get that again, because like I said, that home court advantage will definitely make a lot of difference, possibly for them. And based upon who you face in the first round too, facing hard opponents in the first round has been kind of like a staple for the Clippers the last few years. If you can avoid facing a hot team in the Mavericks or like something like that, let's say they get hot down the stretch like Luka and Kyrie, if you can avoid that in the first round, that's better. If you could play a team like, who knows, whoever's in the 8th, 9th seed or something like that, team that you might have advantage over, like the Kings or something like that. The Clippers have a psychological advantage over them, and, they're just physically better, all the way around. So if you can get better, a better first round, an easier first round where you can win 4-1 in 5 games and rest a couple nights before you move on to the second round, it'll definitely help your players and everything. So the Clippers definitely just need to focus and stay healthy, and all the rest will take care of itself.